Well, the £200 million for the new library is just the sort of investment that perhaps Birmingham's leaders might have wanted to make when they laid down the foundations for the city that we know today. And one of the leaders was Joseph Chamberlain.
The latest in our series of reports looking back 100 years to 1913, the eve of the First World War, reflects on the legacy of a man who championed the city for half a century. Here's our political editor, Patrick Burns.
You really can't miss it. Towering over the suburban skyline, Old Joe to his friends in the heart of the University of Birmingham, commemorating their first Chancellor, the original big city boss. Local government was made in Birmingham by Joseph Chamberlain, but for all his commanding presence, apart from this clock tower, mementos of the man himself are remarkably few and far between. Debonair, dashing, dynamic, he was elected Mayor of Birmingham a record 3 years running between 1873 and 76. There's a square, a monument and a Victorian historian planning a major conference next year, the centenary of his death. But where is his statue?
We could argue that he was such a presence that a statue wouldn't actually do him justice. But the actual city itself is his memorial, and the idea of having a square named after him seems a bit more fitting in many ways than just simply a single statue. You can walk past the statue, but you can't have to walk through the square. But for a legacy more potent than any statue, come to Corporation Street, one of the roads he had dug up while tram lines were laid down. And that, by a curious quirk of fate, is exactly what's happening again now. The new tram line is being built along a road that was actually built in a slum clearance area from the revenue generated by proceeds of the old municipal gas and coke companies which Chamberlain himself had taken into municipal ownership. So Ian, here was one political leader who wasn't afraid of taking on a very significant debt in order to invest in a long-term infrastructure project. Absolutely. Some of the worst slums in Birmingham were right where we are now, and of course by clearing those out and building such a lovely street, it would attract people to want to come to work in Birmingham and of course come to live in Birmingham. Another Chamberlain would definitely be investing in the infrastructure to try and see Britain through the current recession. But still, the search for a more personal memorial goes on, to Key Hill Cemetery. Even here, though, he doesn't exactly enjoy pride of place. It's a very understated grave in a city that was considered at the time to be his citadel. Absolutely. I mean, it wasn't just Birmingham either, it was the whole of the West Midlands he dominated. He had supporters, loyal Chamberlainites across the whole region, all the way from Ludlow all the way right up to Burton-on-Trent. And in a way, the dates referred to here, particularly the loss of his second wife, yes, marks the transition from local politics to the national stage. Yes, he retires from being mayor in 1876, shortly after the death of Florence, and of course is then elected as MP for West Birmingham. Highbury Hall in Moseley was his lifelong sanctuary. It was here that he hid the effects of a debilitating stroke in 1906 until one last garden party in 1913, just a year before his death. Chamberlain was wheeled round in his bath chair. He'd come to say goodbye. But not before this place had established itself as home to a political dynasty. One son, Austin Chamberlain, became Chancellor of the Exchequer, Foreign Secretary, and won a Nobel Prize. The other, Neville Chamberlain, became Prime Minister. Patrick Burns, BBC Midlands Today, Moseley, Birmingham.
Wow, what a family, eh?
Next time you're in Birmingham, have a look out for some of those Chamberlain landmarks.
Yeah. Now,